Okay everybody, in today's video we're going to be looking at the Finnish M39 rifle, and this was Finland's pretty much last major variation of the Mosin Nagant rifle, and was kind of their perfected model, their best one, and had all the features they had been, looking at and working towards with all the other models, as well as a few more. And this rifle was jointly put together by the Civil Guard and the Army, which initially the Army didn't want to involve the Civil Guard at all in the actual design of this rifle, but the Civil Guard eventually got to be involved in the decision making with this rifle, and that led to some features being different from if the Army had just adopted it by themselves. And it takes the sights from the 2830 and also the later upgraded front sight with the screw adjustment, and it also adds a semi-pistol grip to the stock of the rifle, and improved handguard, and a new barrel band, which is somewhat similar to the M27 barrel band, but it's improved, and it's actually held on there, so it's got two screws, or a screw holding it in place, and the way it seats on, most other barrel bands on rifles slide off forward. With the M39, when you have this hinge unlocked and this screw out, it drops down. So that's kind of another way it's held on there better, and if you were using a bayonet and going back and forth, it's not putting as much wear on the band. And the bayonets for these rifles, we don't have one of them, but they're a fairly rare bayonet, and you can find them on occasion, and sometimes they're even as much as the rifles. And they got a new design of cleaning rod for the M39, and the sights are screw adjustable. And an interesting thing on both of these rifles we have is the original strawing that was on the screw is still intact, which is a fairly hard thing to come across today. And this example is a 1943 Seiko, and this one's a 1941 Seiko, and this one's practically in unissued condition, and this one is in a very good condition, but sitting next to this other rifle, it doesn't look nearly as nice, but it's still a great rifle with a great bore. And the M39 is standardized on a 310 diameter bore, so with these rifles you won't have to worry nearly as much as the 28s and the 2830s for reloading. If you have a 308 diameter bore on those, on all of these it'll be a 310 diameter bore. So we're going to be shooting a PPU match line ammo, 182 grain. And yeah, these rifles were made a little bit too late to see service in the Winter War. They made, I think it was around 10 examples of M2830s that were converted into the M39 model, and those were withheld from service in the Winter War and kept to the rear, and then they went into full production after the Winter War was over and saw their first combat in the Continuation War. And these were a very well liked rifle. They were super accurate, really nice design, and kind of the pinnacle of Finnish Mosin production. They've got sling swivels on the bottom and on the side, which that was always a thing with the earlier Mosins, is different branches of service would want different sling swivel setups, so they'd end up making a new model. With this one it was all combined in one. And you can see they have stock cartouches on them that will have the Seiko cogwheel and S on both of these, and both these still have wartime production stocks. So the way to tell the difference on those is the stock splice on the bottom will be rounded if it's an original wartime stock, and it'll be squared off if it's a post-war stock. So that's how you can tell if your gun still it's an original configuration, hasn't been refurbished. Another thing is the screws on the front sight will often be blued instead of the original strawing. But yeah, that's about all I'm going to go into about details of the rifle. There would be about 100,000 of them produced, and there would be 10,000 produced for the Civil Guard, and those rifles you can spot because they will have an SKY on the top of the receiver, and also a Civil Guard number. But both of these are Army rifles, and the Civil Guard ones are a lot less common to find. But that being said, that's about all I'm going to say about them, so let's get into shooting them some. Alright, we're going to start out with 5 rounds out at 100 yards, and one thing I forgot to mention earlier about the M39 is the dates of production. For Seiko, they produced rifles from 1940 to 1945, and 45 is the rarest year out of all of them. They only produced like 1,200 that year. And I believe VKT would do 41 to 44. That's all 5 of them. Alright, here's our group, and 2 on the plate, 2 just off the plate, and then this one flyer over here. I think that's probably just for me, but a pretty good group out of this one. Real nice shooting rifle. Alright, we're going to load up another 5 rounds. This one, the stripper clip guide is a little bit stiff to get the clip into. And I'm gonna aiming just below the plate on these ones to try to get it more on center. That's all 5 of them. Here's our next group on this one. Another really nice group. All of them are on the plate. Really nice shooting rifle. Alright, now we're going to shoot the 1941 production one at 100. And this one, we shot it before and it was shooting fairly off to the right, so we're going to aim off the left edge for these 5 rounds, and we'll just have to remember to adjust the sight before we take it out to the range next time. And one thing I've noticed on M39s is a lot of them, the triggers will kind of be different on a lot of them. On that last one we were shooting, the trigger's super nice and crisp, and it's almost like a you know, hair trigger, I guess. And this one's got a lot more take up to it, which that could just be a difference in how much wear the guns have, or what I think is a lot of soldiers may have been, you know, doing work on their triggers on their rifles, just to make them shoot how they liked them a little bit more. Alright, that's all 5 of them. Alright, here's our group. We got 3 on the plate, 1 just off the plate, and this flyer up here, I guess that was just for me. And the sights are off on this one, so I was aiming about here with all these shots. But another pretty good group. Okay, everybody, that's going to be it for the video. We had a lot of fun with the M39. This is one of the, you know, nicest rifles out there as far as, you know, surplus rifles to shoot. And just really nice that they're as common as they are. They're kind of the most common out of the Finnish rifles, at least out of the, you know, Spitz series of rifles, I guess you could call them, all the ones with the big sight wings. And this was when, you know, Finland really demonstrated that you can truly turn a sow's ear into a silk purse. And they're just really great rifles. If you want to see any more out of them, let us know in the comments, and I guess we'll catch you in the next one.